We begin with better than expected news on the economy and a sigh of relief in the stock market.
The Labor Department says the U.S. economy added 177,000 new jobs in April. That's above average, and it's about 40,000 more than a poll of economists had anticipated. The unemployment rate held steady at 4.2%.
All three major stock indexes were up today, capping off a winning week. Both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq have fully recovered their losses since a month ago when President Trump announced his most sweeping round of tariffs.
Despite signs of economic strength, there is still considerable uncertainty over the trade war.
Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady joins us now to tell us about her latest conversations. Kelly?
Yeah, look, today's labor market, today's report shows a solid labor market, but uncertainty is brewing among small businesses especially. For example, the diner that we visited has switched from using laminated menus to paper menus because their costs are changing so quickly.
A little more comfortable?
Sure. Stanley Calavrusis is the manager of the Three Brothers Diner in Danbury, Connecticut.
How are you seeing foot traffic over the last few months?
The last few months it's been down. I think there's just a lot of uncertainty, and anytime things are uncertain, people really slow down on discretionary spending like this.
With fewer customers, Calavrusis has paused expanding.
How are you thinking about your staff and potential hiring needs?
A couple years ago you were begging for people. Now I just say thank you so much for applying, but we're okay.
With the consumer confidence the way it is, with companies scrambling the way they are, we're approaching a full-blown crisis.
John Samuel is a business consultant for a firm called Alex Partners. He's helping companies react to changing consumer behavior as a result of shifting tariff policies.
Even if we do get some trade deals done, has there already been damage done to businesses and consumers?
I would say yes. So the unpredictability of the climate means that people have to take action on imperfect information.
His company's recent survey reveals 70% of corporate executives expect to raise prices. There is one bright spot. Food prices have been relatively steady since January. Diner staples, including tomatoes, bread, and chicken, saw flat or decreasing prices. A dozen eggs, however, are up 26%. Even so, Stanley Calavrusis notices savings are on the menu.
Enjoy. People are sharing things a lot more than they used to. Nobody leaves any leftovers at all. There's no doggy bag left unfetched.
So, Kelly, some people might look at this report and see 177,000 new jobs. We're out of the woods. Is that accurate?
So look, the fundamentals are solid, but when you peel back the onion, two things stood out to me. So part of the growth came from transportation and warehousing. That makes sense, right? Companies imported a bunch of foreign goods ahead of those tariffs. You need a lot more people if you're putting goods in warehouses. But that growth may not be sustainable if companies don't continue to behave that way. The other thing, growth came from leisure and hospitality. We're hearing from Airbnb, airlines, that consumers may pull back on spending.
What about the federal cuts? Where do they fit into this story, the job cuts?
So it's somewhat reflected in this month. DOGE layoffs, we saw 9,000 jobs drop from the government industry, but you're going to see this reflected over the next few reports as well.